The New Party by Martyn Wade, with Christopher Cazenove as Harold Nicolson, Roger Allam as Oswald Mosley, Kate Buffery as Vita, Joanna David as Cimmie, and Alan Barker as Christopher.
Good evening. Someone said to me the other day, I didn't know the fellow, we were sat opposite each other on the train. He thought he recognized me. Was it the pipe? I listen to those wireless chats of yours every week, he said. Jolly amusing, some of them. Well, whimsical, you know. And I replied, how awfully kind. And that was the end of our conversation. And I felt more than a mite depressed for the rest of that day. I thought to myself, heavens, is this what I'm going to be remembered for? As well as broadcasting, I write for the Evening Standard, but I don't have a byline, thank God. Londoners' Diary.
Nicholson.
Speaking.
Salmon here. It's about the Diana Guinness piece.
Yes. Flimsy, the piece.
It is a bit.
Well, would you like me to work on it or scrap it?
Well,
I'll send something else along.
good. If you're stuck...
Yes?
You might try Lloyd George's latest haircut.
Wouldn't suit me.
What was that?
Doesn't matter. LG's haircut, yes. 50 words or more on the beloved mane drastically reshaped. Wonderful. Thanks for the tip. I don't know what I'm doing here. I know what I'm meant to be doing here, but I can't write tittle-tattle. Well, that's untrue. I could write it, but... Oh, go away. But I don't think the tittle-tattle that I'd write would be very suitable for our readers. Nor would it be very fair on my friends. Londoner's Diary.
Harold, it's Tom.
Oh, Tom! Cheer me up.
I'd love to. Actually, I was wondering if you care to come round to Ebury Street tonight and have a meal.
He's going to be late, I'm afraid.
What's he up to?
Oh, some meeting, you know.
Yes.
Tom's starting a new party.
With a capital N and a capital P.
You've heard?
I'm thinking of joining.
You're not.
Yes and no. I dropped the remark to be provocative. I haven't really made up my mind. Well, on second thought, perhaps I have. I'm thinking of joining. I think. I mean, let's face it, Cimmie, this country's in a mess, isn't it? And if something isn't done along the lines Tom's been suggesting, it could be too late. Down the chute.
Yes, possibly.
Of course, Tom's taking a risk. Not that he isn't used to risks. And you'd be taking a risk, too.
I feel I'd be letting a lot of people down.
Or Labour supporters.
Party workers, MPs.
Though it could be argued, Cimmie, that the great betrayal has already taken place. Of the people, of principles.
Oh, I know. That's Tom's line.
Londoner's Diary.
Salmon here.
It's on its way. Oh, hell. This is a big mistake, Hadji. This is not the right direction. Look, you're 45 now. Time to be serious. Politics. Well, why not? You've had a hankering that way and one or two approaches, but the new party could be the right opportunity. Tom Mosley likes you, and you like him enormously. And perhaps in 5 years or so, even if it didn't win power outright, the new party might be part of a coalition. And surely then, with your experience, you'd have an excellent chance of becoming Foreign Secretary. Not forgetting that England is facing a bloody awful crisis, etc., etc. Russian ballerina Lydia Lopakova, sometimes known as Mrs. Maynard Keynes. Londoner's Diary.
Harold, it's Tom. How's work?
Awful.
I've got some copy for you. Fears that Evening Standard columnist Harold Nicolson is suffering from middle-aged dementia were confirmed yesterday when it was revealed that he had joined Sir Oswald Mosley's new political party.
Yes, thanks. I'll use that. You will.
Fine, but grovelling over last night. Awfully sorry.
Oh, not to worry. Cimmie was the perfect hostess.
I'm sure. But how about luncheon at the Carlton Grill to help me atone?
Actually, I only said I was thinking of joining.
And now you've slept on it?
I'm thinking very seriously. I went to meeting.
Meeting? Who told you?
Well, Cimmie, of course.
Oh, last night's meeting. Alibi, Harold. I was suddenly called out on patrol. Mosley manoeuvres, ending with complete capitulation on the lady's part and complete satisfaction on mine.
Lovely.
In a way, I'm disappointed with myself, to tell the truth. I had every intention of being a good boy this week. Is your steak acceptable?
Excellent. So I take it you did have a meeting this morning?
Correct. Details not for publication, Harold. We're launching the party almost immediately. 6 of us are leaving Labour.
What, you, Cimmie, John Strachey?
Oliver, Baldwin, Brown and Forgan. Bill Allen's quitting the Tories. Bevan's a strong possibility. Harold Macmillan a hopeful. Lloyd George is bound to be keen. And Winston. Outside the house, I know of several very useful fellows who'll be with us, you included.
Steady.
Anyway, at the general election, we should have 400 candidates at least.
Well, that's ambitious.
Oh, yes. Are you?
Vita and I, the perfect union. She, the aristocrat with values and habits that ring like a bell. He, possessed of sharp enough mind and a heart that's too often, perhaps, in something like the right place. She, the willful one, the poet. He, the diplomat that was. Viti! The perfect union. She, the goddess of flowers and shrubs. He, the landscaper with pencil and squared paper, rod and rule.
Hadji, darling.
I can't help. And talk. I've gone AWOL. Couldn't face that squalid crowd this afternoon. Oh, you've been slaving hard.
It's a tussle.
Yes, but labor omnia vincit. Shall I fill the barrow?
Oh, please.
I had luncheon with Tom Mosley.
Oh, yes. I don't blame him for not calling himself Oswald, but Oswald suits him better.
Vita. Dare I, Vita? I promised him I'd join the new party.
What new party?
Well, Tom's new party. I told you about it last week.
Oh, well, good luck, darling. I respect your decision, you know that. You wouldn't have made it if you didn't think it was right.
Yes, I do think it's right. And I think the new party is the right way forward. The only way forward if we're to get out of this mess.
And what about the Evening Standard?
I must stay on. Can't afford not to. I'll have a chat with Beaverbrook, just to put him in the picture.
Harold, you can join whatever damn party you care to. You can become a vegetarian or a theosophist if that's your bent, as long as you promise not to use the diary as a mouthpiece for your crackpot ideas.
Good. Thank you. I promise.
But if you want my advice,
Yes?
which I can see you don't, join a real party, not some outfit Tom thought up before breakfast.
I've had the chance, Max, to paddle in the mainstream, but I want to feel committed.
Well, that's no excuse. Get in there. Go and dwell in the tents of ungodliness. Find a safe seat, Harold. Become a private secretary. Change allegiances when you're feeling out of sorts. But don't play about with Tom's party. Don't be a no-hoper.
I suppose time will...
The man's a fool. Brilliant mind, but he's never learned how to use the system properly. Most of his ideas look interesting, but he has no clue about the way to get them implemented. Shouldn't have got into Parliament so early. Shouldn't be such a damn good speaker. Shouldn't be so cocky. I admire Tom, but he's barking up the wrong tree with the new party, and you're a mad dog for barking with him. Still, it's your life. And God, as you know, is provoked every day. They're not going to put you up for the by-election by any chance.
No. Allan Young, ex-Labour organizer.
My old constituency, you know, Ashton.
Yes.
Pity you're not standing. A humiliating defeat might have knocked some common sense into you.
My dearest Viti, my eternal sunshine. So strange, so painful to be away from you again. I feel as if I must be in foreign parts. Well, let's be honest. Ashton-under-Lyme is in foreign parts. Much excitement here. Some unpleasantness. Labour chaps out to get us. They're ignoring the Tories. If Labour loses, we'll get the blame whoever comes out top. It could be Young, our man. There are rumours flying around. Tom's urging calm and wait and see, but what hope in this atmosphere? Big meeting this evening. Tom takes the floor.
There are some people in the Labour Party who refuse to do anything about the crisis because they're lazy or they're confused. There are some in the Labour Party who admit that an unfortunate occurrence has befallen the country, but who claim that it'll blow over. A mere squall. And there are others in the Labour Party, ostrich creatures these, who ask, crisis? What crisis? I tell you, ladies and gentlemen, there's a crisis, all right. You ask the 2.5 million unemployed. You ask the millions of slum dwellers. You ask the housewives who can't afford today's prices.
Your missus can afford them.
Of course she can. She's an MP, and I tell you, she's one of the few who's worth the salary.
Very good.
This country's in a perilous state. You and I know that. But, my friends, despite the worst efforts of the present government, it isn't dead yet. It lives in hope. New hope. New hope because of a new movement which will provide a sense of purpose. A movement of order, discipline, and dynamism which will chop away the dead wood of post-war politics. What we are urging, what we are demanding is that a small, decisive executive body be set up in this country. A peacetime war cabinet with the power to get things done. A workshop rather than a talk shop.
A dictatorship, you mean?
No, Parliament would retain overall control, but what we ask for is an end to this wretched muddling and meddling, caution and dithering. We say, Britain, awake! Return to your prosperity. Feel again your pride. We say, away with complacency and bureaucracy. My friends, we say to you all, greet a new future. Vote for the new party.
They were with us by the end. You'd have hated it, Viti. On the way back to the hotel, though, I had a sudden deflating fear that all this oratory might come to absolutely nothing. A feeling akin to post-coital tristesse. I hope the denizens of Ashton don't experience the same.
Sir Oswald! From the Manchester Guardian, Sir Oswald, I wonder if I could ask you...
Tom, I think we ought to use the side
Sir
door.
Oswald, what is your immediate view on the result, sir?
I'm disappointed that we lost. Pleased that we got as many votes as we did. I think the new party fared extraordinarily well, given that it's a mere fledgling. In time, believe me, it will be something to be reckoned with. Those people out there, Labour supporters, they realise that. They're angry because they know they've had their day.
Mr. Young, have you anything to add?
Well, first, I'd like very much to thank all those who voted for me. There is in this context a very apt quotation which comes to...
Yes,
thank you. I left the Labour Party because it had thrown over the true principles of socialism, because it made no effort to uproot privilege and class divisions. Now the new party is an opportunity for lasting and comprehensive social reconstruction.
Quite so. Gentlemen of the press, we'll be at the Midland Hotel if you have any more questions. Wish us a safe journey.
Nice place, very nice.
Thank you, yes. Do sit down.
I didn't realize you included the practice of law among your many accomplishments.
No, this is on loan, John, as it were. I can't afford it, but I feel I need a London den. Do sit down. Now,
I'll start, shall I, John?
Well, the thing is, we want to know, really...
Tom's been saying ever since Ashton...
If not before. Before, definitely.
He says he needs a kind of defence force.
Christ.
Youth movement is the term. But we all know what this function will be.
I mean, it won't be hiking and climbing trees.
No.
Cooking sausages.
No, I take your point.
Yes.
I suppose in a sort of way I'm responsible for this. Not intentionally, I assure you. It's simply that I've been encouraging one or two young chaps at Oxford to join the party, but they, in turn, I gather, have been recruiting some hearty types.
Mosley's Biff Boys, they're called. They've started going to Tom's meetings, standing next to the platform. Tom thoroughly approves. Says the more than the merrier.
Christ.
Yes, I realise the danger.
There'll be real violence, pitched battles.
Yes.
It's what the communists want.
Yes.
We'll be playing into their hands. They want us to be a kind of Hitlerite group so they've got something to fight against.
Yeah, I see all that, and I also see that Tom may be very happy in a way to encourage the Reds. Use them as his bête noire. Terribly useful, after all, to have a hate platform. Anyway, look, I'm with you on this. I really am. Let's have no defence force.
Right. Tell that to Tom.
Well, I already have, more or less.
Tell him again. Register your grievance properly. Get yourself onto the party council, Harold, and tell him there.
Morning, Mr. Nicholson.
Morning.
Morning, Mr. Nicholson.
Morning.
Morning, Mr. Nicholson.
Morning.
Enter.
Morning.
Morning, Harold. Pull up a chair.
But, Tom, who is that cove outside your door, faced like a boxer?
He is a boxer. Was. Mr. Edward Kidd Lewis, former welterweight champion. He's one of us.
He doesn't look like one of us.
True. Strachey and Young will be delighted. New party attracts a working-class man. Just one. Forgive me, I'm feeling lightheaded. It's the fencing. Harold, I'm very happy to inform you that you've been elected to the council.
Have I now?
Congratulations. I welcome the move. It demonstrates your growing involvement in new party work, and it means I'm sure that our council proceedings will be greatly enhanced.
Well, thank you, Tom. I feel flattered.
Don't. It's true.
I ought to say at this point...
Later, there's something else. It's become pretty plain to me, and I'm sure you've noticed it since you're in the trade, that most of the press is giving us the cold shoulder. Wireless likewise. In a sense, I suppose we should be pleased. Shows there are people out there who are worried, who see us as a possible threat. But the consequence is that we're having a job getting the message across. There are the public meetings, of course.
Yeah.
Very important, though we're experiencing problems in that area, too.
Yes,
Anyway, what I'm saying is we need a party newspaper.
Ah.
Something to blow our own trumpet with and shatter the wall of silence. A party newspaper, to start in the autumn at the latest. I've no more thoughts about it yet, except that it must be good. Really good. Must sell well, right from the start. That's what I want, Harold. And one other thing. I want you to be its editor.
I see.
You thought I might be leading up to that.
I flattered myself.
What kind of money are you getting from Beaverbrook?
Well, if you must know, 3,000.
I'll match it. Can't improve on it, but you will be doing something that you believe in.
Yes.
Think it over.
Yes, I will. I'd intended before the meeting of the party council to give Tom some warning of what I was going to say on the question of the youth movement.
3 is a quorum. Agreed, Harold?
Agreed.
Cimmie?
Yes.
I didn't want him to think I was trying to undermine him or that I was ungrateful for the offer of editorship.
Right then.
But the use of force is an important issue.
Here they come. Yes. Morning, Allan. Morning, John.
Morning.
And, of course, to apologize to Tom in advance seemed a weak, petty thing to do, as if I was afraid of him.
Very well. The agenda is in front of you.
Present are Strachey, Young, Tom, Cimmie, myself.
There are 4 main items.
We start with...
Party finances.
Tom's been talking to Morris. He informs us, and a substantial gift looks likely. Then...
Item 2.
A brief discussion about a symbol to identify the party. My suggestion of a marigold is accepted. On to...
Item 3, the youth movement. Well, I'm sure you all know my views, but I don't see why you shouldn't hear them again.
Public meetings, says Tom, are vitally important for the party, and there's no point in holding them if they get broken up. Calling on the help of the youth movement, therefore, isn't a sign of aggression.
It doesn't mean we're spoiling for a fight. It doesn't make us fascists.
He stares at Strachey as he says this.
It's a simple expedient of ensuring free speech.
Tom finishes. Cimmie looks down at her lap. Strachey launches off. He's as predictable as Tom, but a lot less exciting. Young adds his bit with a few quotations. Tom says something about armchair Marxism and how the new party faces real issues in the real world. Then...
Harold, have you a view on this?
Well, yes, I do. Thank you, Tom. Well, I used to be a diplomat, and I suppose as a result of my experience and training, I have the ability to see both sides of the argument, even if it's merely so that I can better refute the one I really, inside me, don't like. I get distracted by Cimmie's cough. While I'm talking, I find myself glancing at her and thinking irrelevant thoughts, somewhere at the back of my brain, about how or whether she manages to cope with the knowledge that Tom's an inveterate womanizer, assuming, as I suppose one must, that she possesses such knowledge. I fumble on with my little address. The Defence Force, I eventually declare, may ensure free speech, but it discredits our message. It was better, surely, to risk the message failing to get through than to have it tarnished. Now, if the youth movement is given its head, the party's blueprint for the regeneration of the country will count for naught. The new party will mean one thing and one thing only, thuggery.
Yeah. Thank you, Harold.
I think to myself, assuming Cimmie does know about Tom's escapades, does she forgive him each time, or does she each time allow Tom to seduce her and win her back?
Anything to say, Cimmie?
No, nothing.
Fine. Then I suggest we move on to item 4.
Wait a minute. What about a vote?
A vote? Yes, we can have a vote, John.
Thank you.
The motion is that we use members of the youth movement as stewards at our party meetings. Happy with the wording? Good. Those in favour? Just myself. Cimmie. Thank you. 2 in favour. Those against?
Yes.
3. Right, next item.
Lunacy.
Perhaps. A challenge?
Oh, yes. Cutting your own throat's probably a challenge.
Well, anyway, I want to ask you about my contract, whether you...
Oh, to hell with the contract. I'll rip it up. Have you definitely decided?
Almost definitely.
Would you like me to persuade you to stay?
Well, I can't object to you trying, but I have to tell you, Max, that apart from any other consideration, I don't think I've made a very good job of the diary.
That's rubbish.
No, it's become boring to read, I mean.
Well, you're entitled to your opinion, of course, but I don't happen to agree with it. And I am the paper's #1 reader. Perhaps you get bored reading your copy because you know what's coming. I wonder, would you be any less bored if I offered you an increase in salary?
No. Please, Max. I wasn't asking for a rise.
It's a pity. I think you deserve one. A big one. I'm prepared to arrange it for you anyway.
Max.
No, not for what you're doing at the moment. You'd have to take on more.
How much more?
A lot more. A whole lot more. I'm not going to spell it out. You guess. And it won't happen next week. A year or two at the most.
I see. Well, I think I see.
But you couldn't be a new party man in this new post of yours.
Really?
Oh, I wouldn't be too fussed about that, Harold. Within a year or two, the new party will be defunct. So I don't envisage you having to purge yourself with hyssop. I'm not making you an offer. Not strictly. Nothing in writing, and you can't have my word on it. It's just something to bear in mind.
Vita, I've got to go soon. I'm seeing Tom at 11.
All right. Don't give him my love.
I still can't decide, you know. Oh, God. Beaverbrook was very tempting in his enigmatic way. I'm sure the extra money would be useful when it came. What would you do if you were me? No, don't tell me. If you were me, there would never have been a choice. Oh, Viti, I'm such a fickle, wayward person.
Oh, darling, you can't say that. That was always my line. Hope you're not trying to steal my birthright, Hadji. Am I to become a staid old thing while you seek out a fresh adventure each week?
Viti. Oh, dear. I was about to say, do you remember? How dreadful.
Absolutely. Don't look back.
I try not to, and I like looking back at some things.
Hadji.
I'm Stash.
Yes. How often have you thought, I wonder, what an appalling wife I've been to you?
Viti.
I couldn't help myself, though. There was nothing that could be done.
Such a fickle, wayward person you were in those days. Bye, darling. Whatever I decide, whether it's for Tom or Beaverbrook, you'll give me your blessing.
Go in peace.
Arguments pro Max. 1, money. Sitting bags will eat up at least 15,000 before it's in any shape. Until it is, we still bear the cost of maintaining Long Barn. And there's the flat at King's Bench Walk and the boys' school fees, etc. 2, position. If I was made editor of the Standard, let's assume it's the Standard, I could do a good job. A reasonably worthwhile job. Arguments contra Max. 1, I'd feel I was letting Tom down if I became a Beaverbrook editor. 2, I'd feel I was letting the party down, and perhaps myself. On the other hand, I might be able to persuade Max to drop his insistence that I abjure the party, if I was clever. And you never know, in a few years, Max might be going on to higher things. I might be able to turn the Standard into a new party paper. Oh, God. Tom, I'm going to be half an hour late. Is that inconvenient?
Not in the slightest. Any problems?
No, I've had to pop into the London Library, that's all. See you shortly. Greek, Latin. Tacitus, Terence, Tibullus, Valerius, Flaccus, Virgil. I beseech you, Publius Virgilius, dear bard of Mantua, guide me in this hour of need. Quid non mortalia pectora cogis, auri sacra fames. Ha. I've decided.
Clever Hadji.
Well, in truth, I didn't do anything of the sort. I consulted the oracle.
Oh, but it's years since you did that.
It's years since I was so utterly muddle-headed. Anyway, success. The poet's instructions are quite clear. Aeneid, Book 3, line 56. In English, roughly, love of gold makes us stop at nothing. It's all clear now, Viti. The only reason I wanted to stay on with Max was the prospect of a lot of money. But money's a downright pernicious motivation. I'm going with Tom.
By the way, I've thought of a title. Action.
Yeah.
Has to be, I think.
Action, yes.
Number of pages?
Well, 32 to start with.
Initial print run?
200,000, perhaps?
Dummy edition?
Beginning of September at the latest.
Price?
Tuppence.
Right. My car's waiting outside. Come with me and we can talk further. I'm very pleased you're going to be editor, Harold. Very pleased.
You see, what I envisage is a strong, vigorous, new party court paper, along with lively, penetrating features covering a multitude of aspects of this modern, exciting world.
Right. There'll be a leader from me each week, if you've no objection.
A leader from the leader?
Yes, but I don't intend to interfere with the running of the paper. Quite simply, Harold, if it's no good, it doesn't sell. And if it doesn't sell, it closes. And if it closes, you're out of a job.
Oh, it'll be good. It'll be bloody good. Where are we going?
A gymnasium.
Oh, I am sorry, Tom. I've made you late for your fencing.
No, not fencing.
Head lower. Keep this hand up, will you? No, gotcha. That's more like it. That's more
The
like
youth movement.
Yes.
Go on, keep
These are
moving.
my volts,
Keep
Harold.
moving.
V is for vigour, O for order, L for loyalty, and T for triumph.
Oh, morning, Sir Oswald.
Morning, Ted. No weapons, just the good, clean English fist, and only when absolutely necessary. You'll be glad of these men, Harold, when you make your first public speech. Also, I'll gladly confess this is a good recruitment ploy. We can't expect everyone to be attracted by intellectual arguments. Some of us will pore over the pages of action. Others will go to the gym. A few wunderkinder will do both, I suppose. We'll view them with deep suspicion.
Tom, we agreed. About the youth movement.
I didn't agree.
But there was a vote at the party council meeting.
Sure enough, there was a vote.
Come on, then. Yeah.
Ted,
Yes, Sir Oswald.
call the men together. I'm going to say a few words to them.
Oh, right, all right.
Read Vita's new novel again. In print, it seems less personal now, but even so, there's more than a dash of Vita in the latest Slane character. I suppose, therefore, that I must at least be in some measure the inspiration for old Henry, the husband who dies on page 1. Scholar, charmer, wit. The fellow who, by closeting and cosseting his wife, has prevented her from becoming what she should be. God, how depressing. I'd never have dreamt that I was keeping Vita back in any way. There were, of course, a few occasions when, far from pampering her, I had to play the stern husband. Not that I played it very well. But these were when she'd lost her head, gone Sackville-West. I did what I did for the sake of the marriage, and Vita's own long-term happiness, and mine, too. Oh, Vita, without you I'd be lost. You're my life. Mea Vita, pulcherrima dulcissima, excelsissima, mea sola vita. Which isn't to say, though, that I have no will or interests or desires that are quite separate from her.
Mr. Nicholson, sir. Gosh, damn good of you to phone.
How are you?
Full of intermingled joy and sorrow at the prospect of leaving the groves of academe.
Are you busy?
Oh, yes. Parties and balls and what have you.
I got your letter. Congratulations on your decision to espouse the new party.
Thank you. You were a very persuasive proselytizer, sir. And the dinner was excellent, too.
Christopher, something's happening at Tom's country retreat this weekend. A congress, we've called it.
Sounds exciting.
Talks, seminars, discussion groups.
Oh, that kind of congress.
Well, all the leading party lights will be there.
Yourself included.
Why don't you come along? Saturday afternoon at Savahay Farm. Tom alternating aggressive debating with silly horseplay, practical jokes, and scarcely concealed flirtation with some silly flabber disguised as a party worker. Cimmie, pleasant and serene on the surface. Cyril Joad, wondering about the meaning of things. Innumerable men in their late 30s wearing owlish glasses and earnest expressions. Strachey and Young taking every opportunity to say their piece about the youth movement and Tom's authoritarianism. The youth themselves swimming or performing calisthenics on the lawn. Hobhouse and I sitting on a gate. I suppose the idea of these gatherings is to stimulate the party will, but in my case it makes me wonder what on earth I think I'm playing at.
Yes. Very salutary, such a thought. If you can come through this jamboree with your commitment intact, you've reaffirmed your fitness as a member of the party.
Oh, Christopher, you're a lucky bastard, you know. The best part of your life stretching out in front of you.
And all that. The kind of guff I'll be telling some Oxford graduate when I'm your age.
Yes, very trite of me. Come now, Harold, shake yourself. These are exciting times. The country's on the verge of a crisis. Tom Mosley is in his ascendancy. I wish I wasn't a flippant fellow. I wish, when I wasn't flippant, that I wouldn't get so depressed. Oh, never mind. Let's have a peep at the swimmers. The perfect partnership. Souls in harmony. All marriages should be as ours is now. A union more mystical than physical. I'd go so far as to say that if a man and woman feel a strong physical desire for each other, they should avoid marriage like the plague. With Vita and me, there's no jealousy, no fear. Complete trust. So that when one of us, for a while, pursues a friendship, however intense, the other knows that nothing of the marriage has been destroyed or lost. Such backstair affairs are allowed. They're part of the relationship, really, and Saturday night. Late. Deep as I am in my musings, it takes me a while to remember where I am. When I do, I assume my visitor is Christopher, coquettishly popping down the corridor for a chat. Hello?
It's me.
It's Strachey, alas.
I've had a lot to drink. I'm upset.
Which came first? What's happened?
We're being double-crossed, betrayed.
Let me get my dressing gown on. By Tom, you mean?
Well, not just on the youth movement, on foreign policy.
Well, it's hardly betrayal. You're pro-Russian, he's not. The youth movement business, I agree, was a poor show.
And you did nothing about it.
Well, no, not a lot. Look, can't this wait?
You were afraid of losing your job, eh?
Well, no. That wasn't the reason. I could have kicked up a stink. I agree wholeheartedly, for instance, with what you said at the seminar this afternoon.
You weren't there.
What I was told you said was absolutely right. Very commendable in a way, but I'm afraid my feeling is that in the long run it'll do no good. Look, this is Tom's party. You know that. Without him, it would never have been formed. Without him, it stands no chance of success. That's not to say it's a one-man show, but it doesn't function democratically. If it did, it wouldn't get anywhere. Now, wait a few months. Wait and see.
I've seen enough. I've seen more than enough. This bloody outfit's going fascist. It is. I knew it would. It's a stooge of big business, a way of making sure the working classes are kept firmly underfoot during the crisis and capitalism survives intact. Christ! When I think back, all those years Tom and I worked together.
Times change. Severe situations require severe remedies. That's why you joined the new party.
Oh, yes. And when it was launched, everything he said and wrote, fine. The grand summation of all that we'd been striving towards with Labour, but now...
John!
This party's fascist. And I will not be associated with it.
You look a little low, Harold.
I am a little low. They've resigned.
Strachey? Young? Well, I'm not flabbergasted, nor disappointed. I think we're well rid of them.
Oh, we probably are. But on the other hand, we're bound to take a lot of stick.
On the fascism charge, you mean?
Yes. It's in Strachey's statement, for one thing.
It's conceivable, though, that we might not suffer in the very least by acquiring a fascist label. I wouldn't mind the party being called fascist. The epithet is singularly more interesting than new.
Well...
I think the country might deserve a dose of fascism. Severe situations demand severe remedies.
Oh, dear.
I'm sorry. Have I uttered something particularly gauche?
Probably, but you're not alone. I must turn in soon. Up north tomorrow to interview some prospective party candidates. That should crush any lingering optimism.
I take offence at that remark. I'm thinking of becoming a candidate myself.
You are? Good Lord.
Care to interview me?
Dear Tom, a lot's been happening. First, concerning action. I have a manager and an assistant editor. I think they're both Jews. Good men, though. The three of us have agreed on basic matters of design, and printers are already being sought. On editorial principle, we've vowed not to conceal or dissemble. We shall dispense information without fig leaves. We shall speak the truth fearlessly, or if we can't do that, we shall simply speak the truth. Secondly, the national crisis. For now, there surely is a national crisis, and we could, if we wanted, say to everyone, we told you so, but we won't. Though we will say, we have the solution. And actually, other people are already saying that for us, and are treating the new party with some seriousness, and speaking your name with a renewed sense of excitement and expectation. Do not be surprised, therefore, to receive a deputation of penitent pilgrims at your holiday home. By the way, a member of the press rang to inquire why you are at the Cap d'Antibes while Cimmie is off to Russia. I told him separate holidays have become quite a la mode among married partners, thanks to that notorious couple, Nicolson and Sackville-West.
Oh, by the way, I'm thinking of going on holiday.
A holiday? When?
Next month.
Lovely. Alone?
Well, yes. I assumed it would be impossible for you with your new paper and everything.
Oh, it is absolutely impossible. I meant, really, are you taking anyone else with you, other than me?
No, darling.
Oh. Any place in particular?
Somewhere warm, but not too warm for a trek or two. Provence, perhaps.
Lovely.
You don't mind?
Not in the least. You deserve it.
Sweet Hadji.
Dear Tom, I honestly don't know whether you should break your holiday or not. On the one hand, the country is in an appalling state, and everyone and his dog is having his say on the situation, so you're very conspicuous by your absence. On the other hand, unless there's going to be a coalition of some sort and the PM wants you in it, you may, of course, not want to be in it, then it might be just as well to stay put, since we're not in a position to do anything really positive. That is what I find so damnably vexing. Here's the crisis. It's arrived, Britain on the brink, gold reserves down, a run on the pound, and we're helpless, Christopher. Can't do a thing.
Don't worry. Our time will come. Things will get worse before they get better. For the country, I mean.
Prepare to meet the crisis, we've been saying, like a bunch of Bible thumpers. But now it's arrived, we're too young a party, too small yet to have any proper influence on events.
We can make some impact, push forward our ideas.
Oh, yes, but if they get used, we won't get the credit. Of course, what really matters is the country recovers one way or another, if there is another way than ours. But I don't want the new party left high and dry at the end. You sound in good form, Tom.
Yes, good break, good fun, jolly shaped. Utterly exhausting. Want to hear about it? Swimming, drinking, women. I'll tell you more when the film's developed. It's nice to fit a body to a name. Well, some bodies. How's morale?
Mine or the party's?
Harold, in my absence, you were the party.
Well, then it was low. And then, when I heard the news of the coalition, it was lower still. But now you're back, I'm intending to take new heart.
It's very simple, Harold. If they try to steal some of our thunder, we'll thunder some more.
Right.
As far as I'm concerned, we carry on as before, only more so. And we say that we're not at all impressed by the idea of a national coalition, because a national coalition is an expediency brought on by the crisis that we in the new party foresaw. It's an attempt to buy more time, a mishmash muddle without a clue how to make things happen. It's a coalition of failure, a concoction devised by a decaying prime minister at the end of his tether. The new party, on the other hand, is a dynamic force, something to put one's trust in, something to which one can owe a strong allegiance, a movement whose raison d'etre is purposeful action, a body of men with brave ideas and the determination to carry them out, God and the people being willing.
I'm awfully glad you're back.
Much of our success, it's pretty clear, will depend on when the next election's called.
Yes.
But let's assume it's the new year. I think we can win half a dozen seats. Combined with what we have already, that's a base to build on.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely.
We'll constitute a compact, determined group sufficiently vigorous to ensure that the seats of office are not over-comfortable.
Yes.
We can't exercise real power, but we can start to prod and poke, move things in the right direction, prepare for the future.
Yes.
Then again, the election may go disastrously wrong for us.
Yes. That's possible.
It's very possible. We might win nothing. Lose the few seats that are ours already. Oh, well, in that case, I shall quit, I suppose, for a while. Go into hiding. 5 years, 10. Reculer pour mieux sauter.
Yes. Yes. No, if Tom retires, I'm thinking of retiring with him.
Tut, tut.
Unfortunately, one of the many differences between Tom and myself is that he has money and I have none, so my retirement shall be brief. I wonder if the Foreign Office would have me back.
What? This is damn defeatism. Harold, you'd never forgive yourself if you pulled out now, before you'd given it a proper chance. Whether the party fails or succeeds, you all want to be there when the verdict is pronounced.
You're right, Christopher. I can bear being accused of naivety, stupidity, and bloody-mindedness, but the charge of cowardice shall not be laid at my door. So...
stiffen the sinews.
The party will win through. And if it doesn't, it won't be because I've abandoned it. Action will sell copies by the thousandfold. It'll be scintillating every week, I pledge myself. I'd sign a vow in my own blood if I wasn't a teeny bit squeamish. Care to produce an article, by the way?
For Action? Love to. Thought you'd never ask.
Peter Quinnell, Christopher Isherwood, Francis Birrell, Osbert Sitwell, Christopher Hobhouse. There'll be people writing who are first-rate. Peter, with a regular gardening column. Peter's friend Olive, doing Woman's Page. Not all the contributors, I confess it now, will be well known to the general public, but they'll have been picked for their ability, not their reputation. And I don't think the fact that most of them happen to be friends of mine, or more than friends, or friends of friends, Olive Rinder, that's her name, matters one iota. Brave new world. Come in.
Morning.
Oh, morning, Christopher.
I brought my article.
Oh, yes?
Modernist Architecture.
Terrific. Show it there, will you?
I want you to read it.
Yes, my dear chap, of course you do. Put it over there. You've heard about the Glasgow meeting, have you?
Heard about it. I was there.
My God, I never... But you're all right.
I kept my head low, my lips sealed, and my marigold well hidden.
But it sounds quite appalling.
Oh, it was. I have never seen anything like it. Quite appalling. They were threatening Tom with razor blades. They were threatening with just about everything.
He's not badly hurt, though, I gather.
Brilliant speech. Huge crowd. No, he was almost unscathed. Loud speakers. Hundreds of Reds. Excessively aggressive. Tom was unflinching. When he finished his speech, he walked straight towards them. Didn't bat an eye. Gosh, he's a cool customer.
Our toughs were there.
Yes. Kid Lewis and so on. As I say, he went straight towards the Reds, and they simply turned tail. Well, someone threw a stone at Tom. It struck his head, but he hardly seemed to notice. Very inspiring occasion. A magnificent victory over communism. You're going to read my article now?
In the light of yesterday's events, therefore, I think we have no other recourse than to increase the membership of the youth movement and intensify their training. We have to ensure that public meetings are much more heavily and thoroughly stewarded from now on.
The police were present.
Largely ineffective. They acted only when they saw it had already gone our way. We can't rely on them. Harold?
I didn't want to comment upon Glasgow. I wasn't there.
No, but regarding the youth movement...
Well, you know my views.
Do we think that members of the movement should wear a uniform?
No. God, no.
I'd much rather they didn't.
Well, a uniform that isn't too militaristic.
No uniform, Tom.
No, I agree. But if there has to be a uniform, it certainly shouldn't look militaristic.
You see, a uniform does confer distinct benefits. It enables those who wear it to identify each other easily. Very important at meetings. It also encourages solidarity, classlessness. Everyone will wear the same, whatever walk of life. What kind of non-militaristic uniform do you suggest, Harold?
Well, I hadn't thought. Something like a grey shirt and grey flannel trousers, perhaps? If there has to be a uniform. My dearest Viti, action number 1 is out today. Oh, what a sweat to produce so little. Oh, dear. Still, your gardening tips are first-rate, Viti. I love you, my angel. I feel at moments so near to you, as if I'm right by your side as you stride through France on your sunny hikes. The other news is that the general election is fixed for the end of the month. MacDonald's asking for a doctor's mandate, and he'll get it. We're putting up 24 candidates, that's all. I'm standing for the combined universities, which is a postal vote and therefore rules out kissing babies and whatnot. Suits me. Tom's extremely equivocal about the whole affair. A little off-putting, that, when one's trying to be the epitome of keenness. Not easy for him, though. The big guns want him back, and it must be tempting. Our candidates, the motliest crew. Cimmie, not among them. She's pregnant, poor dear, very below par.
I'm sorry to burden you, Harold.
Oh, please.
I just feel the need to talk about Tom.
Yes.
I wish I could understand what it is he really wants.
Ah, yes. Well, actually, I don't think he knows that himself. Exciting times. Heraclitus would have been in his elements. Everything in enormous flux.
I might have been a candidate, despite the baby, despite all this dreadful talk about uniforms. But I'm damned if I'm going to while Tom's having behind-the-scenes talks with...
Oh, God knows everybody, including Chamberlain. Yes, I did hear.
I mean, how can the new party have any credibility if Tom's trying to do deals? We're meant to be talking about new measures, new structures.
True. Though you have to bear in mind that Tom's been talking about new structures for years now. He was advocating a 5-man cabinet when he was Labour minister. What he's looking for now is the appropriate strategy, and maybe we have to play the old political game to give the new measures any chance. I don't know, Cimmie. But I'd rather suffer that than see our youth movement parading in the streets.
Yes.
I feel optimistic.
No, you don't.
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm determined to be. It's going to be fine, Cimmie. You're a bit low because of the pregnancy, hormonal changes, all that.
Yes, Harold.
Just a theory.
It isn't just the politics. There's something else that's been depressing me.
Ah.
For a very long time, if you want to know the truth.
Cimmie...
God, I really hate Tom sometimes. He's so blasted callous. Selfish. I hate myself more, though, for allowing things to go on, for forgiving him every time he cheats on me. You know about his affairs, don't you?
Not in any detail.
I suppose if I'd been a sensible woman, I'd have got out of it by now, or got used to it.
Yes, but sensible women, Cimmie, are so very stupid, as a rule. And boring.
The tragic thing is, I'm sure he means it when he says I'm sorry and never again. He means it every time. The pig. The dear, dear porker pig.
Damn life. Damn it. Olive Rinder comes round to the office with some new copy for the woman's page. We chat about Vita's holiday. Olive lets slip they, etc., instead of she. It happens twice. She notices the second time, blushes scarlet. I don't interrogate her, just insert a few casual questions in the conversation. Well, I think they sound casual anyway. And my God, I should be able to manage a casual tone after all these years. Transpires Vita's walking companion is a lady called Evelyn, another women's page editor, and a very close friend of Olive. How silly and complicated human relations can be. I phoned Christopher, but he's not in.
Look, this election, I'll be honest...
Don't believe you!
I can't imagine, really, that we're going to perform all that well at the polls.
Sure, now I believe you.
The reason is that the truth is sometimes slow in being heard. But a vote for me and the new party will not be wasted. It will act as a kind of testament, a beacon. It'll point the way forward to a time when truth will out. Now, I think this is a very dangerous period. Parliament, which is at present the home of a monstrous tribe of hydrocephalic antiquarians. Measures to change the very fabric of our society so that a new state is created, a corporate state, in which the shibboleths of privilege and class conflicts are abolished and efficiency, energy and enthusiasm are rewarded.
For Hobhouse, new party. Vote for Hobhouse, the children's champion.
Hey, Christopher!
Vote for... Hey, hang on, driver. Pick that fellow up, will you? It's the famous Harold Nicolson.
How are you keeping?
Well, I remain in good spirits despite everything.
And your speech to the Scottish students?
Yes, despite that, too.
Did you change the text at all?
Not a lot.
I warned you, you can't tell people we're a lost cause and then expect to win them over.
Vote for Hobhouse, the children's champion.
Christopher, why the children's champion?
Why not? I'm after a minority vote, aren't I?
I take it prospects are bad.
Better for the children than for me, I think. How many did Allan Young get here?
4,000.
Heavens. Harold, I'm going to give you a word, and you have to tell me another word with which you associate it. Ready?
Ready.
Deposit.
Forfeit.
Right, first time.
Vote for the new party.
Vote Hobhouse, children's champion. You know, it's funny coming back... Oh, God.
Sorry. I suppose a lot's happened in 6 months, yet not as much as ought to have happened. We've been losing impetus, I think, since the by-election.
Vote Hobhouse.
What a scene that was at the town hall. Tom revelled in it. That was the new party at its pinnacle, I suppose. I could do with a cup of tea, at the very least.
I received another postcard from Vita this morning. She'll be home tomorrow. I get out the old wooden box so that I can add her 3 cards to the pile of her correspondence. Has she kept all I've sent her, I wonder? I dig deep into the box. I look back over the letters, beautiful and sad, telegrams languid rather than urgent. How often we would write what we couldn't say. Snatches of poetry with no stated provenance. Some of it Vita's, perhaps. I spend the best part of the morning with the box and its contents. Tears, self-chiding. A black cloud.
Morning.
Oh, the afternoon, almost.
Well, pass me that trowel, would you?
Sure.
I thought I might put some rosemary here to make a kind of background to the marigolds. What do you think?
Yes. Have you read the election results?
Well, I did look for yours, darling, but I couldn't find it.
Oh, I have a stay of execution, with it being a postal vote. We've crashed.
Yes. Yes, I understood as much. I'm sorry.
Even Tom failed at Stoke. No seats. Christopher got just over 400 votes at Ashton. I didn't think it would be this bad. Mr. Edward Lewis, 154. I mean, it's a grotesque joke. Mind you, if Lewis had got a big vote, the joke would have been even more grotesque.
What are you going to do?
I have no idea.
Of course, you might get in.
No, Vita, I will not get in. I can't leave the party, though.
Around this edge, I wondered about anemones. Or do you think they'd be too showy?
Yes.
Is the party worth it?
Well, it's not just the party, it's Tom.
Oh, God, he's not worth it, surely.
He's been a friend.
He's used you.
Well, possibly, but no more than I've used him. I admit, of course, that he's not a model of morality, but neither am I.
Well, perhaps if he'd been married to someone more accommodating, more indulgent, more sympathetic to his needs as a man.
I don't know.
Or alternatively, somebody who gave as good as she got.
Well, I just think... I think we're very lucky, Vita, you and I, having the kind of marriage we do.
Yes. Though perhaps it wasn't all luck. Some good judgment.
Oh, absolutely. Anyway, I shall not leave the party. I have my pride. And if I did leave, what else would there be to go to?
Not hungry, Harold?
Oh, it must be this business of having my election night extended over several days. Very wearing, you know. So, whither the new party now?
It trims its sails, Harold, on the overtly political front. We'll have to close the George Street office. Many of the paid staff will have to be dismissed. Davis must go, had his hand in the till.
Oh, dear.
Troward's out already. He's wanted by the police, apparently.
Heavens.
Yes, good job he didn't win his seat. As I say, we trim our sails. We wait, see if the storm breaks, see how the national government copes.
And what about action?
As before, only more so.
I thought for the next issue we'd have a remark such as, "Are we downhearted? Yes, we are." Then a tempering of our acknowledged gloom with some uplifting statement about future plans and hopes. We live to fight another day, etc.
It was not our result that was a fiasco, Harold, but the election itself. That's what we tell them. It was a doctor's mandate given to men who are the very germs of the disease. We tell them that in the long view, in the judgment of history, the election will be seen to be an absurdity and a horrible waste of too precious time.
Then why do we put up 24 candidates?
Because we'd have found it convenient to have had some representation. Convenient, but not vital. Other modern movements have failed at the polls. Mussolini got smashed in 1919. Our time will come. Politics is too serious a business to be left to the politicians. The dinosaur factions will die away, and a new force with a new message will take its place.
That's what we tell them.
Absolutely. I'd appreciate it, by the way, if the statement you're making about future plans could include a prominent reference to the youth movement.
Yes, very well.
I'm renaming the movement NUPA, which conveys the right kind of notion. I feel modern, no nonsense. What do you think? Access to Parliament is denied us, so let us give time and commitment to building up NUPA. I want clubs established all over the country. Get young fellows on our side now. Win their allegiance, channel their energy, mould them for the future.
It'll cost.
Oh, yes.
Where will the money come from?
From the cost-cutting elsewhere, of course. Sharpen up, Harold.
Dear reader, you will be interested to know that you are now one of 60,000, according to our latest circulation details. In our first week, we sold 165,000. Oh, my God, what a slump. This, of course, was far too high. First issues always sell in absurd abundance. But if we can maintain the present figure, we shall count ourselves successful. And to be honest, which we always try to be... just a moment. Always try to be... We'll be very fortunate, too, given the...
Hello there.
I said just a moment.
Yes, won't keep you long. The name's Cheyney.
I beg your pardon?
Captain Peter Cheyney. My card. I'm a new party member. Thought you might like me to offer an article for your paper. I'm a writer.
Are you?
Short stories, dramatic sketches, lyrics.
You're very versatile, Mr. Cheyney.
Captain Cheyney. Oh, you haven't heard the half of it. I run a literary agency, a detective agency.
Look, I don't wish to appear...
Anyhow, Newper organisations. That's the theme for my piece. 2 broad categories. Newper youth, of course. Several branches round the country. Top-class instruction in most sports. Political training. Lectures by famous people. You can give one if you want. Hitler might go down well.
As a topic or a speaker?
Then, for those who have made the grade, there are the Newper shock propaganda controls.
Newper what?
Their aim to cut out the bunk in Great Britain. Parliament an anachronism. No salvation in words. Ex-servicemen returning to the land fit for heroes to find themselves betrayed. From the trenches to the breadline.
Captain Cheyney...
But Newper provides realism, discipline, toughness. The message is join Newper before Newper gets you. He who strives wins. Burn the red flag. And so on.
Captain Cheyney, have you seen our paper?
No.
What I suggest is that you take a copy away with you now.
No, thank you. Got a few to spare, I see.
Take it away, read it thoroughly, form an idea of the kind of material that's being used, and then, if you're still interested, approach me again.
I think the article I've planned will go down very well. To be honest with you, you need a few things like mine. Give your paper some guts. Gerald Hurd asks, did the werewolf exist? Dr. Robert Forgan, on old age, the commonest disease in the world. You see, in my opinion...
Mr. Cheyney, I haven't asked for your opinion.
Most of this stuff's completely irrelevant. You need something that reflects the mood of the new party activists. Energy, dynamism. The paper should be an important tool in the establishment of Newper shock propaganda tactics. When's the deadline for your next issue? I can have the piece written in a couple of days.
Mr. Cheyney, no.
3,000 words it'll be. You can either print the whole lot together...
No. No.
Or in instalments, if you prefer. That's fine by me.
Cheyney, listen...
I'll bring the article in first thing Thursday morning.
God damn it! Excuse me. Action.
Harold, it's Tom. Harold?
Yes, I'm here.
I've got some sad but not entirely unexpected news.
Sounds like my election result.
You have it, or rather, you don't.
Dare I ask how many votes?
461. Cheer up, could have been worse. I'm sorry, Harold. Don't shoot the messenger. See you soon, Harold.
Yes.
Oh, one other thing. You'll be receiving a visit sometime from a Captain Peter Cheyney.
Oh, it's happened. He's here.
He is splendid. I did just wonder, Harold, whether he might have a contribution to make to action.
I think he has. That is, he thinks he has.
Well, I leave it with you. Editor's decision final and so on. See you soon.
Yes.
This book review, Sado, by William Plomer. Booking question seems to be about bum chums in Japan. Do your readers need this kind of stuff, I ask myself?
I wrote that review.
Yes. Well, chacun, etc., as they say. That was Sir Oswald on the phone, was it? He's inspired me to take up fencing, you know. Cut and thrust. Nothing like it. I'll be back Thursday with the article. The genuine article.
I haven't made my mind up yet, but I think it might suit us very nicely.
You mean it might suit the youth movement?
Newper, yes. This way.
What was this place? A school?
College. Ideal. We could have dormitories here. Club rooms, canteen, gymnasium, assembly hall for lectures, rallies and speeches. I see you're wearing your pained expression, Harold. But you can't possibly have a moral objection to the idea of young men being trained and disciplined, learning to live together in a spirit of fellowship and trust, the kind of camaraderie we experienced in the war.
Not me, I'm afraid. I was desk-bound. Well, I've no objection to the camaraderie, Tom, but you want these men to be, well, stormtroopers.
Stormtroopers? No.
Be honest.
We never said at the outset that we wanted to be on the model of the other parties in Britain. We never said we were conventional, that the country's chronic problems would be solved by conventional methods.
We never said we were fascist.
True. We never said we weren't, not in so many words. Anyway, define fascism. Don't bother. We'll call ourselves fascist if and when it's helpful to do so. Listen, Harold, the new party can't go on playing at politics. Canvassing for seats it will never win, losing deposits. It must seek support, gain its strength elsewhere. No doubt it will turn to the ballot box again in time, but less as a party and more as a movement. A way of life, if you like.
I don't.
But you can't say that because it's not been tried, not in Britain.
It would get laughed off the streets.
I don't think so. Worth a go, at any rate. We've been laughed off the hustings. If we did take this place, Harold, I wondered, to save a bit of money, whether you could move your action office here. A couple of rooms decorated nicely. What do you think?
Well, yes, if needs be.
Any circulation figures since last week?
Yes, dropping.
2?
Under 50,000, I'm afraid. Things will have to change.
Yes, Harold, that's exactly what I've been saying.
It seems to me that now the crisis is receding, if it truly ever came, Tom's shifting his ground. There's no real likelihood in the foreseeable future of the country absolutely needing the new party, or rather, the new party gone fascist. Not at least to sort out unemployment, revitalise industry, get the economy straight, and Tom knows it. So now, whenever he speaks about the country needing us, he means it more with respect to general attitude, ethos, the mood of the people, the improvement of body, mind, and soul. Which is almost all right, the way Tom puts it. Expressed by Mr. Cheyney, it sounds abominable. Press-ups and indoctrination, blood and iron, and the weak to the wall. The paper's a failure.
Yes. Hadji, darling, what am I expected to say? Of course, if you had time, you might still bring it round.
There isn't time. There isn't time because there isn't money. A failure, a bloody failure. We're losing several £100 a week.
Well, what a pity. I enjoyed doing my column.
I suppose what I was trying to do was impossible, really. Turn a party paper into an exciting, enlightening periodical. Perhaps if the party had grown, but that was the whole point. Action was to help establish the party, not vice versa. The only contributor who might have made it work, apart from Tom, that is, was that dreadful person, Cheyney. He should have barged onto the scene, fully armed and ready for the first issue. Offered to write 10 articles and take over the editorship. I wasn't aggressive enough. I wasn't ruthless.
You can't blame yourself for that, Hadji. You're not that kind of person.
I chose staff because I liked them, or thought they might like me. Contributors for the same reason, Cheyney excluded. Oh, don't get me wrong, darling. I'm not saying your gardening bit wasn't entirely on merit.
Sweet Hadji. Soft Hadji. And so utterly, utterly ruthful.
Cimmie, you look divine.
Thanks. Like an elephant goddess, you mean? Harold, how are you?
Oh, not bad, not bad. Sweetheart, it's just been decided we're going to Italy in the new year.
What a lovely notion, Tom. But I really don't think I can. I wouldn't want to take any risks with a baby.
Well, actually, I meant Harold and I.
Oh. But perhaps it's not such a lovely notion.
Just for a few weeks.
It's not that. This isn't a holiday trip, is it?
Well, not really.
Fascist fact-finding.
Correct, Cimmie, and I'm sure we'll discover, among other things, that the standard of health provision in Italy is quite a match for ours, if not vastly superior. So I wouldn't worry on that score. Join us. Young Hobhouse will be there. He could be your nursemaid.
I'll stay. I'm sure I'll be happier.
Yes, that's what I thought, dearest.
Harold, you're not going fascist on me, are you?
I do it to be frank.
Harold's agnostic. That's why he's making the trip, so he says. He is a fascist, really, but he doesn't yet know it, or he's not prepared to acknowledge the truth. You see, Harold, you'll quite happily talk about streamlining the government, bringing about a corporate state, unified and efficient, with every individual playing his part, but you've never admitted to yourself what all that would entail, what it signified. I mean, when it boils down to it, the new party was fascism in sheep's clothing.
I don't think so, but even if it were, I'd find that preferable to a new party with big boots on.
It's very simple, Harold. You want fascism on the sly. I'm prepared to consider fascism on the streets.
Oh, really, Tom?
By the way, I want action to announce the Italy trip. How many more issues have we got?
Just 2. The last one's on the 31st.
That's fine. We'll have it in there.
Poor Harold.
Yes, Wordsworth is right. Action is transitory.
What are you going to do?
I don't know. I didn't really look much beyond Italy.
I wish you wouldn't go, either of you. You'll be seeing Mussolini?
We hope to, yes. I've been practicing my salute.
God, I'm warning you, Tom. I'll have to put a notice in the Times. Lady Cynthia Mosley wishes it to be known that she will have no sympathy with and absolutely no intention of joining any fascist movement that her husband, etc., etc.
What a perfectly splendid idea, Cimmie.
I'm serious, Tom.
Cimmie, my mugwump. The new party is all but dead. I'm looking around, that's all. Asking questions about my future. I'm a free agent.
Yes, and I have a sneaking suspicion that when this turmoil and recklessness is past, the wheel will come full circle and Tom will join the Tories.
Oh, no.
Oh, give him a few years, he'll be their leader.
No, no, no.
Harold was joking.
No, he wasn't.
Oh, well, fascist leader or Tory leader, Cimmie, which would you prefer?
Action.
Harold, last night, Cimmie. My apologies.
My dear Tom, please. No need. Hormonal changes. Yeah, but I wasn't joking, you know, about you and the Tories. It can still happen. You haven't burnt your boats. Nothing you've done so far has endangered your chances of high office, the highest office. Nothing so far, with so far underlined 3 times, lest I be accused of being subtle.
Let's wait and see. We have Italy first.
Yes. I'm so sorry about Action.
Don't be.
Can't help it. Faiblesse oblige.
I'm sending you my final remarks to our readers.
Assuming any can be found.
The headline is, "We are pierced and broken, we advance." And I don't want the copy cut, not by a single word. Otherwise, you're fired.
Tom's leader arrives on my desk. Better the great adventure, I read. Better the great attempt for England's sake. Oh, dear. I read on. Better this, that, and the other than strutting and posturing, etc., amid the scenery of decadence. We shall win, or at least... Oh, Tom, you old ham. Or at least we shall return upon our shields. I leave it as it is. Issue number 13 is ready for the printers.
Let me take your bag, sir.
Christopher, how are you? How was Munich?
Excellent. Both of us. Lots to tell you. What Herr Hitler's arguing, essentially... By the way, they put us all together in the hotel, a blessed trinity. You'll love the suite. It has an aura of vulgar opulence. Yes, Herr Hitler's message is that fascism won't get anywhere in Britain if we all behave like proper British gentlemen and prepare for the fascist state with polite discussion groups and whist drives to raise money. Just won't happen that way. Fascism doesn't arrive during a cup of tea and cucumber sandwiches.
Let it wait, then.
Now, Harold, don't fret. You won't have to patrol the streets, swinging your cosh and kicking Reds in the balls. You're an intellectual. You'll be drafting propaganda messages. You'll be editing Action.
What, again?
Action transfigured, with teeth bared. You'll be writing speeches for our leader.
Oh, Tom can write his own. You won't have seen the leader's last leader, will you? Drivel, really. And yet, at the heart of it somewhere, one senses an undeniable power and truth. I find that worrying. My dearest Vita, such a busy fact-finding Hadji I am. Never were so many facts found in such a short time. Fact number 1. The Italians are, or claim to be, extremely organized and have, or claim to have, a much better standard of living than before. Fact number 2. They've almost certainly lost some degree of personal freedom as a result. Question. How does one balance these against one another? How much freedom should be lost in order to achieve efficiency? What does one say or do to those who would rather be poor and free? What kind of remote possibility is there, assuming one thought it right and proper, of bringing such a system to Britain?
I think there's every possibility. I think it might be worth the attempt.
Agreed.
And Hitler's right, is he? It would have to be forced?
Oh, probably. Or the threat of it.
You'd countenance that?
I think I would. I'm young. I'm allowed to countenance dangerous concepts. Yes, Hitler's right. Well, he's almost bound to be if might is right, which it usually is. Let's face it, Harold. The long-established bastions of parliamentary power in Britain aren't likely to take it lying down if some fascist power announced its ultimate intentions. So force might well be necessary, just as the parliamentarians found with Charles I.
Ah, yes. Very neat.
In my view, Harold, radical change by peaceful means is not out of the question. It will be achieved by seeking some kind of constitutional mandate for essentially a program of radical constitutional reform.
Now, what you're saying is, we ask the electorate to vote democratically for the end of democracy.
A butcher's mandate.
Yes. Gosh. Sounds a bit of a tall order.
It depends. Depends whether the country was aware how much it needed us.
Personally, I don't see what difference it makes. I mean, if the end result is a radical change to the Constitution, what does it matter if the means to this end are constitutional or otherwise?
It matters to me. It matters to the British electorate.
Yes, and I'm sure it would make them feel a little happier if they thought they'd brought about the changes themselves. It has to be admitted, though, the most important consideration is that of expediency, feasibility, necessity.
Yes.
We reform constitutionally if we can, but, Harold, if the patient won't take his medicine because he doesn't know how good it is for him, what are we to do? Sit back and watch him die?
Fact number 3, Vita. I love you more than ever.
I was with Il Duce, you know, during the march on Rome.
Yes, those must have been very exciting times.
Tom and I went to see Signora Sarfati today, Mussolini's biographer.
We were in Napoli. The Fascisti were grouped together for inspection by Il Duce. For the first time, he wore over his black shirt the scarf with the colors of Rome. Viva Fascismo, he shouted. Viva Italia. They saluted him. Leaders, legionaries, he continued, I tell you this, the time is almost come. Italy must have a real government, not a ministry. Either we are given power now, or we will take it. Prepare yourselves for the march to Rome. And at that, the men shouted out together, to Rome, to Rome.
Sarfati's story was fluent. I assume it had been told many times. As it progressed, I glanced at Tom. His face was intent, earnest.
Great stuff.
Embellished?
Of course, Il Duce is part man, part myth, but that's the essence of all great figures of history.
I had a dream last night. I dreamt I wrote your biography.
Oh, dear, my life's not over yet, is it?
Well, I had it all finished to my satisfaction. And then Vita buried the manuscript in the garden.
I had a dream. A daydream. On the way back from Signora Sarfati. The scene was London, cold, sunny, autumnal. Fascists had taken power. Banners and flags everywhere, the sound of drums and bugles. The men were marching down Birdcage Walk. I was at the back of the column, standing in an open-top car, medals on my shirt, one hand tucked inside my Sam Brown belt, the other greeting the crowd with the Roman salute. Cries of "Hail, leader!" At the Houses of Parliament, near to the statue of Cromwell, was a raised platform with microphones. Ex-Nuba stalwarts, youth movement fellows of the first hour were lined up alongside it. I got out from the car, mounted the steps, silenced the crowd with a sweep of my arm, and began to address them. That's as far as I got.
Some daydream.
Oh, Harold, your Poe face. What a picture.
You were joking. You had no such dream?
Naughty Tom. Naughty Tom.
I decided against going along for the chat with Benito. I told Tom that I had no wish to play gooseberry. To be honest, I've found enough facts in the last few days, and Il Duce might be one too many for my system. So I'm sightseeing the Forum. With dearest Viti, I'm certain, just here, close by me, as I gaze at the ruins. Here, 2,000 years ago, walked all those larger-than-life figures that crowded my youthful days of study. Here was Caesar, here was Pompey. Here were displayed the head and hands of Cicero, who was killed on Mark Antony's orders because he spoke in support of freedom and the Republic. I don't know what to think. Tom clearly is impressed by fascist Italy without being entirely won over, but nothing I've seen has encouraged me to believe that what Mussolini's achieved could work back in England, or that it would be right. I have my wretched allegiance to Tom, though, and to what remains of the new party's credo, which needn't be lost, surely, even if it is proclaimed on a fascist banner. Oh, but how much easier it would be if Tom were to pull back from fascismo. Great Jupiter, I pray to thee, let Sir Oswald's meeting with Mussolini go badly. Perhaps you might bring it to pass, omnipotent Jove, that Il Duce displays in word or gesture some sign of gross ill-breeding, which ensures Tom's enduring antipathy both to the man and his movement. Please.
Come in, Harold. I won't bite.
Well, how was it?
It was interesting. This room he has, you know, so vast. There he is at a desk at the far end of it, and he gets up and he gives the Roman salute, which, Harold, as a matter of courtesy, I return. I walk towards him and he towards me, a little, and last we're within earshot of each other, and we talk. Well, it's more a question and answer routine. He asks what I think about the reclamation of the Pontine marshes. Very impressive, I say. I ask him what he thinks about the prospects for fascism in England, and so on. All fairly rapid and businesslike. He's extraordinarily busy, that's the idea.
Yes.
Up close, he's more flabby-jowled than square-jawed, but pleasant enough.
Good.
One can see very readily why he's succeeded, but it's as much due, I feel, to the gullibility and weakness of the Italian people as to any special qualities he might possess. I'm glad I saw him, though.
Good. What did he say exactly about fascism in England?
He said I wasn't to think of taking power by force.
Oh, good. Good.
Taxi, senor?
No, grazie. Ah, Christopher.
Ciao. You sound in high spirits.
I'm elated. In fact, I'm just off to pick up an uncastrated ram and sacrifice it as a mark of my thanks.
Too much Vino Rosso, Harold?
No. I've been chatting with Tom, that's all.
Ah, yes, the inspirational power of the leader. I take it he didn't tell you much about his meeting.
Well, there you're wrong, Christopher. What did he tell you?
Many things, and wondrous.
Go on.
Well, that Benito is an energetic, dynamic man who doesn't fool around. That he has a sharp mind and asks sharp questions. Everything focused on power and will, getting things done. His remarks strewn with quotable quotes. Violence is a hard necessity, not a soft option. Our leader liked that one particularly.
Oh, hell.
Seems Tom is very much taken with the fellow. Enthused greatly about the prospect of emulating him. Harold, what was all that guff about the ram?
Oh, it doesn't matter. I'm cancelling the order.
It's 10. I ought to be packing. Splendid view, though.
Tom and I are on the hotel balcony, gazing out over the city for the last time. Il Duce city. Has Rome supplied you with what you came for?
Yes, I think so. Though I object to your form of words, Nicholson. Suggests I lacked an open mind. I'll tell you one thing it's done for me, quite seriously, Harold. It's made me resolve to give up all that damned fornication.
Oh.
No more high life. Well, not as much. No more parties. No wild parties, that is. No more philandering. Full stop.
Well, that's excellent news. I'm very pleased, and I'm sure...
Yes, Cimmie will be pleased, too.
Yeah.
This decision, I hasten to add, has nothing to do with the women folk of this city. Many I've met have been quite ravishing. But I have to recognize, Harold, that the fight to come will not be easy. And if I'm to make a go of it, I've got to give it my all. So, a new regime for young Tom.
And in due course, a new regime for the country.
That's right.
Was it the interview with Mussolini that finally convinced you?
It gave me confirmation.
I discovered afterwards, you know, that what you said to Christopher...
Yes. I gave you each the version I thought you wanted to hear. And the devil of it is, I believe both versions. Can't decide about the man, I really can't. Makes no difference, though. In the story as given to Christopher, Il Duce's a marvel and worthy of imitation. With the version you got, I can tell myself, well, if this bugger's achieved so much, what might I do?
So, you're determined to try it?
Dear Harold, I'll try anything once. Yes, I'm absolutely determined.
You won't permit violence, will you, Tom?
There shall be no violence.
Thank you.
Except in the defense of one's own person and of free speech.
No bully boys, Tom. No militarism.
Well, they shall be trained, these young men who come to us, trained to become what I and my fellow soldiers became through years of hardship and danger in the war. And they shall be the bedrock of the movement. And we shall go down that lonely road together and unflinching. And who knows where it may take us. But we shall follow it, and we shall find what rewards our courage may bring us.
Offer your services to the PM. Join the national government.
Oh, Harold, what a spoil sport you are.
Join Labour again. Join the Tories again. Be an independent. You're rushing headlong, Tom. You have to be calm, cautious. Your time will come. Be forgiving. Be magnanimous. Be indulgent towards our silly old system. It'll repay you. This road of yours, you'll find it bloody hard to come back from it once you've started.
I realize that, but I won't want to go back. That road, Harold, is to take me and the country in a new direction. Away from the old blather and the cretinous credo of anti-progress, the status quo people, the cobweb system of checks and balances. You know what these Italians believe in? Solidarity. That's what I want for our country.
But that's what the communists want.
Solidarity. Everyone moving in the one direction. Unity, purpose.
No opposition.
No.
And what happens if there is opposition?
It withers away, Harold, of course. Solidarity.
Yes. And one leader?
Yes. Harold, I'm not going to pretend there isn't personal glory involved here. I'm not going to be falsely modest. If I didn't want to be a leader, if I didn't think I was suited, what would be the point? How far, for instance, you'll excuse me asking, would the movement get if you were its head?
Yes, Tom. A fine reductio ad absurdum. Do what you said you would. Do you remember? Go into retirement. Be a second Cincinnatus. Wait at home for the call to power.
No.
Write a book.
I'm already writing
Well,
one.
then.
Learn Spanish, take up needlework. No, thank you, Harold. My mind's made up.
I don't think so, Tom. It's your heart that's ruling you, not your head.
Yes, you're probably right. This will be the essence of the new age, Harold. To feel, to do, to go where one's instincts and emotions take one. Away with all things intellectual, I say. To hell with argument and logic. To hell with reason. To hell with it.
Oh, Tom.
There, I do believe I finally lost you. Am I right, Harold? Come on, be brave, speak up.
Yes, you've lost me.
Well, dear friend, you hung on longer than most. Longer, too, I suspect, than accorded with your reason.
I'm sorry, Tom. I'm sorry.
No, no, there have been enough words, quite enough. The tour's ended, time to pack.
As we approach London, a daydream to complement Tom's. Day-nightmare, I should say. My head and hands are cut off by Tom's fascisti and put on show. I see the dismembered parts propped up against one of the lions in Trafalgar Square. Poor Hadji. Reality, Christopher wants to know if he can stay at King's Bench Walk. Overnight, I ask. Over as many nights as you can manage, she replies. If he'd put it to me 6 months ago, I'd have said yes with enthusiasm. I say yes. I'm depressed, and I find Christopher's ebullience a prey on my nerves. I brood. I've no job, no immediate prospects. And now that the new party is officially dead, I can't pretend to be involved in politics.
Politics never suited you anyway. You're too fastidious. Your feelings are too transparent. Your disdain for the practicalities of political activity, the skullduggery, the hypocrisy, is too strong to be overcome. You should collect ceramics or be a choreographer.
Ah, thank you for that advice.
As for me...
Yes, of course.
I shed no tears over the new party. It was always, I see it now, destined to be nothing in itself. Its only use was as a possible stepping stone to something more thrilling and sinister. That something, I admit, I might have embraced warmly. I really might. And I don't think Tom will ever bring it about.
You don't?
You see, Harold, whereas you're afraid he'll encourage the use of force, I think I'm half afraid he won't. Not the kind that would really mean anything. I don't imagine he would do it even if he had the men at his disposal. Too much of a toff is Tom. He might fight, but he wouldn't fight dirty. Nor would I, of course. I wouldn't fight at all. But I wouldn't have minded people doing it for me. Anyway, I bid Tom adieu.
It's taking shape.
Slowly. I want irises here.
Good. I've made a bit of a fool of myself, haven't I? One way and another.
No, Hadji. You've won some respect. People admire a fellow who takes risks, pulls surprises. I do, at least.
Thank you, darling. You're very kind. I don't know what to do.
I do. Dig.
No, I didn't just mean this morning.
Neither did I.
Well, perhaps one should cultivate one's garden a little. Go into semi-seclusion. Lick one's wounds and mull things over. Yes.
So I say to you, we have a choice. Either to embark upon the struggle and face the consequent dangers, or to sink back into laziness and indifference. We fight, or we allow the once bright flame of this country of ours to flicker and die. We have this choice, but really it is no choice, for how can we refuse such a challenge? We gladly accept the risk and the glory that will be ours, whether we succeed or fail. With courage we declare, long live Britain, long live the British Union of Fascists.
Trafalgar Square. I stand a little apart from the main throng. I show myself thereby to be a mere observer, not a participant. I look around. I notice Cimmie. I think, she knows about Diana Guinness, I suppose. The new Tom, the man who has renounced partying and philandering, the serious Tom, he's found a new woman to be serious about, and now poor Cimmie must try to be reconciled both to fascism and to the new woman. I wonder about going up and saying hello, but I decide that if that's all I can say to her, I'd rather not. Before the crowd disperses, I hurry away.
The New Party was written by Martyn Wade. Harold Nicolson was played by Christopher Cazenove and Oswald Mosley by Roger Allam. Cimmie was played by Joanna David, Vita Sackville-West by Kate Buffery, and Christopher by Allan Barker. Beaverbrook was played by Paul Maxwell, Cheyney and Kid Lewis by Eric Allan, Strachey by Brett Usher, Young by Charles Millam, Salmon by Mark Straker, and Margarita Sarfati by Anne Windsor. The play was directed by Cherry Cookson.